touring luxury homes with Toll Brothers right here in Leander. In this video, we're touring one of the top floor plans built by Toll Brothers in a community outside of Austin, Texas that has rolling hills and incredible views. Now that community is called Traviso, and we'll talk all about the community later on in this video. In fact, if you want to know what you can get under $1 million in Traviso, I'll show you a home later on built by Toll Brothers that's for sale at the time I'm recording this video, under $1 million, over 4,000 square feet. But stick with me as we go through this model home, because as you'll see here, there is so much great design work in this model home, and the flow of this space makes so much sense for so many people looking to move to the Austin metro area, where you have tall ceilings and windows everywhere. Now, this is the Glenson plan built by Toll Brothers Homes. This home starts with square footage just under 3,900 square feet. There are some structural upgrades that you can add to this plan that do add square footage. There is also a balcony option that you see through those transom windows up there that we'll get to later on in the video. And if you're interested in building a home like this from scratch and you want to pick all your upgrades, I'm not only going to walk you through what those upgrades look like, but I'm also going to show you lots later on in the video that you can build this plan on. Now, like usual, we're going to start right here in the kitchen, and what I find so many people want in their kitchen when they're building from scratch is a great design piece. And there are different options that you can do within your kitchen to make a great design piece. In this kitchen, it's really the kitchen island with the waterfall countertops and all the movement that's going on in the countertops. As you'll see here above this 5-burner gas stovetop, a lot of the other upgrades just complement those countertops. For example, this backsplash doesn't have a lot of colors, not a lot of movement, but it has different shades that bring out the colors that are in this countertop. And then notice the other parts of this kitchen, like the faucet or the pendant lights or even the cabinet hardware, they're all dark, and that's to bring out a lot of the dark colors that are in this countertop. In other words, the countertop is what's getting all the attention. If the designer put in more design pieces with a lot of movement for the backsplash or anything else in this kitchen, I really think it would take away from the countertop and they would start to compete with each other. And this is the beautiful part about design. When you have one great accent piece, lean in on that accent piece, let it stand alone as attracting the attention, and then build around that accent piece. And I think most designers would agree that's the best way to design a space that has a lot of different moving parts in it, like a kitchen. Now, what we just saw previously was a pantry door. For some reason, they have that door locked. I'm not sure why, but either way, I think you got a good look at the pantry size in there. And if you want a closer view of that, let me know. I have a couple Glenson plans that are actually under construction, and I've done a lot with Toll Brothers. So I have clients building with Toll Brothers right now as we speak. In fact, one of those plans is closer to around 5,000 square feet. So if you're interested in seeing what that plan looks like, I'll also feature that later on in the video. Now, as we sit down at this dining table, this is the best part about building from scratch. For some of my clients, they tell me they want the dining area to be combined with the main living area. They don't want it as a dedicated space because they never use it. And as you'll see here, this dining room feels like it's still a part of this main living area, and they still fit a 8-seater table in that space. But if you want a dedicated dining area, there are floor plans that do have that, where it's its own unique space away from the main living area. Now, we will come back out to that main living area. I want to go to the primary bedroom because the upgrades just continue here in this primary bedroom and bathroom. That starts with the ceiling height and the beams running across there with that accent ceiling color, which I think is incredible. There are great windows off the back of this home that show you the view that's here in this community of Traviso. And I'll show you that view one more time from the living room, where we're going to get outside, go through the patio, and then wait until you see upstairs, where we not only have that second floor balcony, but we have a loft, a media room, a couple bedrooms. There is a lot going on upstairs. Now, while we get into the primary bathroom, one thing I want to go back to is structural upgrades. Now, structural upgrades are things that you have to choose when you contract on a home, when you're building it from scratch. So it's not something that you can just pick after the fact. When you go to contract and you sign that contract, they send all your structural upgrades in to get permits, And then once it's everything submitted for permits and you sign the contract, there's really no going back at that point because structural upgrades are pretty much fixed. And that's why doing some due diligence upfront is so important. And so a couple of the items in the main living area that I thought were important to understand were going to be the kitchen island. At the time I'm recording this video, they have a great upgrade of extending that island and making it wider. And then there is an optional fireplace, which we did see in the living room. And we'll come back out to that area when we leave this primary bedroom and bathroom area. Now, one concern that I hear from so many of my clients is they tell me, hey, they spend a lot of time in their living room. So they want that space to feel as big as possible. And that's why a lot of my clients are attracted to plans like this, because the ceiling height makes everything feel big. And then you talk about sliding glass doors and windows everywhere. Windows and ceilings make a space feel so different. And so that's why they love that open to the second story. But you also need a lot of space in there, right? Space for furniture, space for entertaining friends and family. If you have a family, just living in your home on a daily basis, you want to make that living room feel as large as possible. And so they're fearful if they extend their island, that will cut down in this space. And what I can tell you about this plan, as well as two other plans my clients are building right now as we speak, we found those plans had the biggest living room and there was not much of a compromise in that space. And it made sense to build those plans because that was one of the focal points my clients really were trying to hone in on, get big living room space. With that being said, the optional fireplace in the corner of the room, we found on some plans, it really made the space feel much smaller. I think in this room, it doesn't make as much of a difference just because of the corner that it's in. Sometimes I see fireplaces on the back of the home and that cuts out windows and that makes a space feel significantly smaller. And I can't tell you how big of a difference that makes on some of these homes where you see a floor plan with a certain structural upgrade and all of a sudden you hate the floor plan or you love the floor plan. But I always tell people, hey, that's the structural upgrade playing games with you. And for some people that really want a fireplace with a tile design going all the way to the ceiling, then this is, I think, a great place for it. But I think most of my clients want that fireplace on the center wall across from the couch in the living room. So kind of to the right of me. Obviously on this plan, you can't do it because there's an entrance that's needed to get to the primary bedroom. But on a lot of other plans, you can have that fireplace in the middle. That way you have a nice tile design right in the middle of the living room. It complements all the design opposite of the kitchen and it adds some color to that wall. And I have a lot of my clients picking plans like that. But let me know what you thought about that fireplace location and how that makes you feel in the living room. Now, I know how this makes people feel in the outdoor patio area. It's incredible. That street that you see in the back is actually Traviso Parkway. So that's the main road that goes through the home. And that road goes all the way up at that hill. So when you drive down to this back section where they have this newest batch of model homes, it's incredible. I can't tell you how many times I've been in the car with my clients. We drive out to Traviso. I usually try to time Traviso later on in the day so we can catch it kind of closer to sunset. And when the sun is setting on this community, it is epic. And when you're driving through that road, it's incredible. And I can't wait for you to see what that view looks like on the second floor balcony that's above this. Now, a lot of people ask, is this what builders do in the backyard with that backyard build out that we briefly saw? The answer is no. They're just showing what's possible for you to do after closing. Most builders will ask you to do that with a third-party company after closing, just because there's a lot of custom work that's done on the back of homes with landscaping and some concrete work. You definitely want to hire somebody after closing to do that. For some builders that do offer that, I find it's usually just comes with quite the premium, and usually anything complex or custom with a production builder will carry that premium. So some things are possible, but more times than not, you want to do that after closing. Now, the other question I get when we get to the backyard in these model homes with my clients is they say, well, this is a model home. Is it only the model homes that have incredible views? And my answer is absolutely not. And then I drive them to one of my clients that are building from scratch, like this client. Now, I'm standing in one of the lots that my client's building on in Traviso. Now, they're building a 5,000 plus square foot home, and they wanted a spectacular view off their backyard. They put in a second floor balcony as one of their structural upgrades, and that's why we landed right here, because they're gonna have that view right off of their balcony and even a view off the first floor of their home. So if you want views like this, you want great lots that you can build your dream home on, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Back
back to the video.
Okay, I'm so excited to see my client's home get started there because there is a great view. I don't know if I captured it as well in that video just because it was so rocky. We tried to get away from actually the workers that were next door. So we kind of went to like the edge of where that lot is, but there's some incredible views off the back of the home, and I think we'll start to see that, and I'll keep getting videos of it. Getting back into the home here, we have a study, which I think is in a great location in the home. For some of my clients, they work from home, they're in tech, and when they're moving to Austin, one of the biggest spaces that they want to look into that's a priority for them is where they're going to work. Because they work from home, they spend a lot of time here. They want this in a space that's away from the main living area. And we're on the opposite side of the stairwell from the living room and the kitchen. So if somebody is working in this study, which by the way, I think the cabinets and the built-ins kind of make the space feel a lot smaller than it is. It's a decent office, but that does make a difference there. I do think it looks nice, but that should be factored in, I think, when you're looking at doing a build out there. But I think in terms of privacy, if somebody's cooking in the kitchen, kids are playing in the living room, or the kids are playing upstairs in the game room, it's really nice to have this space where you have privacy. And of course, this being an open, a model home, they don't like to put doors in some of these areas because there's so much walk-through traffic and there's multiple people in here at a time. But there will be usually double doors on that office. And then next to the office, we have a second bedroom downstairs with very tall ceilings, great windows off the front of the home, and an in-suite full bathroom. Now, in terms of windows, keep in mind the elevation of the home does change the windows in a lot of cases. The elevation is the exterior aesthetic. So it changes windows on the front of the home. It also changes the materials that you can use on the front of the home. So a lot of homes in Traviso have that stucco stone look. There are homes that have brick, but it's usually brick, stucco, stone, and hardy board are the major materials that are usually used on the exterior of the home. And your elevation is going to dictate what type of materials there are and where they're located. Now, if you build from scratch, like a bunch of my clients are in Traviso, then you can usually choose the material that you prefer to have. Like there might be stone, like a lot of limestone is used here because we have a ton of limestone in the ground. But then there are also higher upgrades of stone where it's usually just like a smaller cut of stone. I mean, there's so many different upgrades that you can do on the exterior, but either way, you can pick what you want there. Now, my videographer is doing his best to avoid people that are walking in. That was the perfect transition because there was people walking in previously, and we want to give them privacy as they walk through this home. But we also want to show this powder bathroom, which I think is so important for people that are looking to have privacy for whoever is staying with them on that second spare bedroom. And usually for a lot of my clients, they say, hey, I have parents visiting, they live out of country, or they live out of state, and when they stay with us, they want to stay for weeks, sometimes months. We want to give them privacy. And usually that means if guests are over, they have a powder bathroom that the guests can use. And if their parents are over as well, the parents have their own in-suite bathroom in their bedroom that they can kind of keep things out, like toothbrushes and stuff, and just make them feel a little bit more at home when they don't have to share their bathroom with anybody else. And speaking of sharing, take a look at this view out the transom windows through the chandelier. That chandelier is kind of blocking it, but we'll get out to that balcony and you'll see that view. And I can't tell you how many times I've had clients that say, I want to share the views that are here in Austin with everybody, my friends, my family, anybody who's visiting. And so when I see views like this, like homes like this one that we're walking through, I love capturing them. And I love seeing it when clients build their home, finish it, and then have their friends and family over. It's nothing more special than when that happens. Now this is also special, having a game room with a media room off of it. I love the tray ceiling and the design work that's there that forces your eyes to go up. And then a lot of my clients love having a media room. Only tough part about this media room is when you enter in and the TV is on the opposite wall when you enter in. This is the couch situation that you have to do. Like that couch at the front of the TV, that's pretty close to the TV. So let me know what you think about that. I've had plenty of clients with media rooms and they do 2 tiers of seating, but they have more room than this, or they can put the couch on the right side of the wall and then the TV on the left side, and that gets them a lot more room. Now, obviously, when you do the balcony option on this home, I don't think you have that as an option unless you put the couches on the left side and then TV on the right side, but then people have to walk across the TV to get to the balcony. And I'm not sure how many times that will bother you if people are constantly going back and forth. So maybe the way they had it was the best way, but let me know what you think about that. And I'll tell you what my clients think about this. Spectacular. This view is unbelievable. That big dirt patch in front of us is actually the second amenity center that's going in. My videographer actually shot this in September of 2023. I took a while to post this online, but I sent this to all my clients early on because I thought this was a great plan, especially when these new model homes came up. I got all sorts of recordings of them. But just know that dirt patch now is starting to look more like an amenity center at the time I'm posting this video. And I believe that amenity center should be completed sometime in 2025. And that's the second amenity center. The first amenity center has a pool, beach volleyball court, a soccer field. It's got some beautiful views from it. They have a farmer's market in the parking lot of that amenity center, I believe once a month. And there's just always events going on in this community. It's a very active, lively community where people are out and about. They're walking their dogs, they're taking their kids to like a pocket park or to the amenity center, and it's all about having fun. In fact, I had a client contract in here on the day of Halloween, and I'll never forget it because I needed to take a measurement of something before they signed the contract. They really wanted to know a measurement in a room, and one of the builders in this community does not take measurements and put it on their website, which is pretty annoying, but I didn't mind going out. It's just when I left their house, it took me 25 minutes to get out of the neighborhood. Not joking. Usually it would take me like 3 to 4 minutes. It took 25 minutes because everybody took over the roads, which I thought was awesome. By the way, I wasn't annoyed by that. I loved it. I loved going out, taking a measurement, because if I was buying a home and I didn't know something and I wanted to know, I would absolutely want to get a measurement before signing. And because a lot of my clients are out of state, I'm their boots on the ground. I do these things for them. But it was so cute coming out of their house and trying to drive through these streets, and the kids with their parents are just taking over the road. Everybody's dressed up in their costumes for Halloween. Everybody's trick-or-treating. It was a beautiful day. It's one of those fall days where it's just gorgeous. And it just made me happy. I just realized, like, sometimes when you get into the nitty-gritty of these plans and you start looking at, is this 10 feet? Is this room 11 feet or 13 feet? What's the width of this, or what's the option here? And you look at all these things, and what really matters? What matters is community and that livability. And that's all about the people and the lifestyle that's within these communities. And I think if you focus first on communities, I think that's what really matters most. And what I advise most of my clients is we'll look around at floor plans, we'll analyze, we'll get a lot of what they want, but when they come to Austin, we'll start touring homes in these communities. But the most important part is getting a feel of the community. That's difficult to do through a video format. I can get videos all day long, and I've gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos of floor plans. And it's much easier to do that. I've had a lot of clients buy out of state without even putting eyes on the floor plan, or sometimes the floor plan's not built anywhere in Austin. And so having these videos is really handy. Sometimes I've gone to Dallas, where my in-laws live. I've gone to Houston to visit friends. And while I'm there, I'll make sure I grab a video of a few different floor plans that I know is not built anywhere in Austin, but it's a floor plan in those cities, and I want to capture it because I think it's a good plan. And so I've had a lot of clients buy a plan just based on a video, but I can't get you to buy into a community without seeing it. That's really difficult to do because it's hard to capture how a community feels through video. Now, while we're up here, as you could tell, we went through a couple bedrooms, a couple bathrooms. We already saw the game room and that loft space and the balcony. In terms of structural upgrades, there is an option for a 5th bedroom and bathroom, but it does take up the space of the media room. And then obviously you have to go through that bedroom to get access to that 2nd floor balcony option. So I think that's a tough upgrade for some of my clients that say they really want 5 bedrooms. I think this is one of the plans we can look at, but we often go to other plans that are built on 70-foot wide lots. So this plan, the Glenson plan that we're walking right now, can be built on a 60-foot wide lot. It's one of the largest plans that you can build in their 60-foot wide section. But for a lot of my clients that want those bigger homes, like start to get in the mid 4,000s or 5,000 square foot homes, that's where you have to go into the 70-foot wide and even 80-foot wide plans that are built on those size of lots. For example, we have that Haywick plan that is a model home here in Traviso. One of my clients is actually building that plan, and they did the upgrade where they have 5 bedrooms and 5.5 bathrooms. But then you also have plans like the Graciela plan, which is another plan over 4,000 square feet, and you don't always get an option like that under $1 million. For pricing in this neighborhood, trying to get those larger homes that are well above 4,000 square feet under $1 million, it's tough, but it's possible on inventory homes. Now, inventory homes are simply just homes that are already being built by the builder. For some of them that are already finished, obviously the builder's very motivated with pricing to get a buyer under contract on that home so they can move on to their next project. And this is one of those homes. This is the Graciela plan built by Toll Brothers. This is in their 70-foot wide section, and this home is for sale at $989,000. Now, it has 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, is over 4,100 square feet, and has a 3-car garage. We also have a second floor balcony upstairs that has sliding glass doors to get out to that second floor balcony. So I can't wait for you to see it. Now, I know I have so many engineers watching these videos. I have a lot of software engineers, electrical engineers. It's a lot of my clients that reach out to me. And so they're very precise. So I want to be clear, actually, it's not over 4,100 square feet. It's 4,098 square feet. Okay, so over 4,000 square feet. I know engineers are very exact, and I can appreciate that. I respect it. So I always want to be exact with some of the things that I say when I can. A lot of times builders just try to give me a ballpark because that square footage is obviously always approximate. Either way, you get great upgrades in this home that's for sale. It may not look like a model home. It's not staged. The flooring's a little bit dirty. That's very typical for homes that have just completed construction. They'll obviously do a deep cleaning on this before anybody moves in. Probably clean it multiple times too. But what I want to do here is start in the kitchen, because this is what a inventory home feels like. That's a little bit more like an average end of what people put in terms of upgrades into their home. Like for this kitchen, they did 2-tone kitchen cabinets, where it makes that kitchen island stand out. They made the backsplash very simple. It has some whites and grays in it, which bring out the different tones that are in the countertop. I like how they did a stainless steel vent hood, and that backsplash goes all the way up to the ceiling. And then I think the windows in this plan are fantastic. We do back up to neighbors, so I want to be clear, this is not a view lot. Obviously, we are backing to neighbors, but we are a corner lot, so there is a little bit of a view off the left side of this home when looking at it from the street. And we'll see more about what that looks like when we get outside to the back patio, as well as upstairs to that second floor balcony. Now, before we get to these different areas in the home, I want to show you, this is the pantry, and this has a couple of structural upgrades that are currently allowed. First off, you can change to half of that pantry can become a wine room area, which is great for like a wine rack, and then I think a wine fridge, built-in wine fridge or something like that. Or you could make it into a workspace, which would make it separate with its own countertop and cabinets. And I've had actually clients think about doing that to make that into a prayer area. Now, what's different about this specific floor plan is you have a living room, which we see here, and the fireplace on the left side, and then in between this room and the kitchen would be a casual dining area. In fact, that would be your dining area, because there is no formal dining room in this home. Now, if you're somebody who says, I have to have a dining room, keep watching. I think there's some good upgrades in this home that might make sense for you to see, so you get a good visual of a non-model home. And then there are other floor plans that do have that dedicated dining area. In fact, Toll Brothers currently has in this 70-foot wide lot series a floor plan that has a open to the second story dining room as well as a living room, and I think that shows really well. And I also think this grass shows really well. This is what happens when they water it every single day, which they do that when they first plant the grass so it roots properly. And by the way, that's a good update on what's happening on the second amenity center. I said earlier that that was just a dirt patch, but that was in September of 2023. That's a look at the second floor balcony, by the way. I'm actually shooting this second video of this home that's for sale at the time I'm recording this video. As you can tell, that's me now, not my videographer. I actually shot this because I had somebody who was interested in it anyway. And we ended up passing on it. That's why I'm posting it online. But what's funny is I thought there was more progress on that amenity center. You might have seen some things are built up, but there's still a little bit that has to happen there for that amenity center. So it's been under construction for a little while, but I can't wait to see it completed. Really, Traviso and some of these big master plan communities, they're not afraid to pour a lot of money into their amenities. And I think that makes a big difference, both for livability and for future resale. I also think this makes a big difference too for both livability and future resale. This is the primary bedroom. Let me know what you think about the cathedral style ceilings that are in here. Some people say they don't like cathedral style ceilings. It makes the home feel, some people have said like religious in a way. But I think sometimes it's that beam that runs across that throws people off. And this room did not have that beam. So I want to know what you think. If you don't like cathedral style ceilings, is it the beam or is it just because of the shape and how it makes you feel? Let me know in the comments below. Now for this plan, it's a little bit different too, where you walk past the bathroom to get to the primary bedroom. And then this primary bathroom opens up really well, where when you first enter, you first see the freestanding tub and the window that's above it adds a lot of natural light. Ceiling height is great. You have vanities on either side, so you still feel a lot of space in this bathroom. But I think the space that you really feel is in the walk-in shower, where it's massive. It's so big, actually, they don't even have a door to enter the walk-in shower. And I'll get to that in a second, but I just want to point out, again, that's a closer look at the amenity center. Not the greatest visual, but as that gets built out, I'll definitely take some videos. So if you are out of state, reach out to me. I'm happy to give you updates on what's going on here. And I'm also going to give you updates on lots. So there are new lots that are coming up in the 70-foot wide section where you can build this plan, or I'm going to show you the Haywick plan later on in this video. And then I'll also show you the Glenson plan, that plan that we just saw, that model home. I'll show you some lots that are open right now. Now, before we get there though, I want to show you that was the rain shower that a lot of my clients are putting in. Makes this bathroom feel luxurious. And then I think putting tile all the way up into the ceiling here makes so much sense from a design standpoint. It feels fantastic. Having all that tile in there makes your eyes go up and makes the space feel so big. Now, what I want to also tell people is, for lots that are coming up, it's all about timing. Traviso is in the latter stages of lots opening up. There won't be huge phases opening up beyond 2025. So just keep that in mind. There might be some smaller sections that are coming up, but really this back section is where you're going to see a ton of options. And one of those options where you can build the Glenson plan, which we saw earlier in the 60-foot wide section, some of those lots are right here. Now I'm in the newest section that's coming up right here in Traviso. So if you're trying to figure out where you can build the Glenson plan with Toll Brothers, just look right behind me. And if you want more details on this, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Back to the video. Now that was a great visual of the hills that are here in Traviso, but some of those lots may not have views. Obviously, when it's just flat dirt, and they're going to build a home, sometimes backing to another home. But there are great view lots that do come up, usually in every section. The problem is those view lots sell the fastest. Like when the lots opened up, they opened up the entire phase, and there were 3 really good view lots. And I think they sold within the first 4 days that they were open. So these are things that you need to get in line for, even in a market where things are still kind of pulling back in a lot of areas in Austin. Here in Traviso, those view lots are just always going to sell fast because there's still a backlog of people that want to get into this community and want to build a forever home with a view, right? There's just still a huge market for that. And by the way, we're back in the home. We saw the powder bathroom. On this side, we got a utility room, access to a 3-car tandem garage. This is a space for a mud bench, obviously because the garage entry door is to our right, which we'll get to. What I want to finish with saying though is if you want to build plans like this, the Graciela plan, over 4,000 square feet, or like the Haywick plan, which I'll feature later on in this video, that starts over 4,600 square feet. There's even upgrades you can add to it from there. Those are the types of plans that can be built on 70-foot wide lots, and then there's even 80-foot wide lots that are coming up in late 2024. So if you're watching this at the time I'm posting this video, which is fall of 2024, reach out to me. I have great relationships with each of these builders, and I find, especially if you like view lots, you want one of the best lots in a new section that's opening up, it is important to get in line early. And I have a good strategy on what that looks like, a strategy that I've implemented in this community and in other communities like Santa Rita Ranch, in Parkside on the River, some of these other communities along this northwest corridor of the Austin Metro. I'm constantly building relationships with these builders and getting my clients in early, especially if they value having a particular lot. Also, if they value having a particular plan, oftentimes there will be, like I gave you an example of 3 lots that were view lots. The problem was, once somebody built a specific floor plan on the middle lot, they can't repeat that same floor plan on the left and right side of that lot. So that was a problem. If you wanted that floor plan built, even on one of the other view lots, you couldn't do it as soon as somebody built on the middle lot, because you can't keep repeating the same floor plan lot after lot after lot. So that's where getting in early makes a lot of sense. Again, if you value a lot. If not, there's really no rush. If you value inventory homes, you just have to wait till they come up. And that's where kind of talking to these builders on a weekly basis, figuring out what's coming up, giving criteria for each of my clients so that when that opportunity does come up, I try to swoop in and get those inventory homes before they go on market for everybody else to see. Now, while we're in the study, which has a great view, by the way, because that's a half cul-de-sac to the right of us. So there's a good view off this study next to the stairwell. We also have a second bedroom downstairs that has an in-suite full bathroom. And while we're here, I'll talk about those inventory homes, because I think that's a really interesting option like this one that we're walking. And why they're so interesting is, while I'm posting this video, interest rates are still relatively high. We're over 6%, which is still double what we were during the pandemic, which was artificially low. We know that 3% interest rate, probably not getting back to it anytime soon, but over 6 is tough. But a lot of builders are buying the rate down on these inventory homes, where I've had people get interest rates in the 5s and some even in the 4s, because the builder is spending so much to get rid of these inventory homes. They're doing these promotional interest rates. Now, there is a secret to negotiating that I'm not going to mention in a public facing video, because I want to have that exclusively for my clients. And it is something that I'm recommending for a lot of my clients, where instead of thinking about getting the lowest interest rate possible, think about where interest rates are going over the next year, and then let's negotiate on things that really matter. And if you reach out to me, I can describe that to you in full detail, simply because I don't want to give all the details of our strategy on a public facing video, because these things also do change over time, and I want to advise you accordingly. And advising someone accordingly is all about the timing of a lot of these opportunities that are coming up. And that includes inventory homes. So you might ask, why would a builder not put out an inventory home publicly on the market? And the answer is because the work it takes when it goes public. When some of these homes like this one gets published, the builder will get dozens and dozens of phone calls. They'll get people visiting, they'll get agents reaching out to them, and they'll get at the end of a week at least over 100, if not over 200 people reaching out to them. So let me ask you, would you rather, if you were a business and you had limited time, would you rather spend time talking to over 200 people or talking to 3 to 5 people? Obviously it's 3 to 5, because a lot of times you might think, well, builders are trying to maximize profit on every home. No, they're not. They have dozens and dozens and dozens of homes across the metro. Some of these builders have hundreds of homes across the metro. They're more focused on selling a certain quantity in a quarter rather than maximizing profit on every home. And that is where you get opportunities, is when you have that understanding and you can get in the door with these builders to reach out to you before they go public with a lot of this information. And to give you an example of that, let me show you one right here. Now, if you like views off your backyard, just look right behind me. My contact at Taylor Morrison reached out to me this morning and said, hey, I have a view lot that's just coming back to the market. Do you have anybody interested? And I knew I had to come out here and shoot this for my clients. So if you want first access to some of these lots that are becoming available, some that are falling out of contract, some that are in a new phase, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Back to the video. Okay, that was a lot with Taylor Morrison at the time I was recording that video. They are the other builder in Traviso. I'm sure my people at Toll Brothers won't mind me saying that. It's public knowledge that there are two builders in this community. In fact, Dree's Custom Home was the third one until they ran out of inventory, or I think they have a couple homes that are left, but they're at a very different price point. But the vibe of this community is what it's all about. And each of those builders kind of partner together to really promote this neighborhood. And this is one of the top selling neighborhoods because of exactly what you're seeing out here on this second floor balcony. Even a lot like this that doesn't have a view to it still has some beauty attached to it just because it's here in Traviso. And if you get any open look off of your home in Traviso, chances are you get a great view. And even for this one, the neighbors are a little bit slightly higher than us, but not by as much as down the street from here. You can see that wall actually just starts here, and then it starts to get deeper and deeper as you get into this road. And then I have a client that's on the opposite side of the street that has an incredible view. We actually saw their lot earlier, and so there are opportunities opening up like that in the new section. In fact, I would show you a video. I've already made one for a lot of my clients, but it's really just a bunch of dirt. You can't even see where the lots are, but I'm just kind of giving my clients updates every single week as I have a bunch of clients getting in line for the new lots here that are coming up in Traviso. Now, getting back into this Graciela plan, we're back in the media room. That's why there are no windows in here, so you can make this into a theater room. A lot of the white caps that you see up on the walls are usually pre-wiring for speakers. And I did ask for one of my clients recently if we could put windows at the back of their home. They wanted to build another plan that's kind of similar to this Graciela plan. It's actually the Haywick plan that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And they said no. So you can still ask everything that I'm saying in this this video of like different options and stuff like that. Keep in mind these things do change over time. It's oftentimes I say at the time I'm recording this video, this is the option. I'm just kind of giving that as a little bit of a disclaimer because I don't want to lead you incorrectly or in a wrong direction. And so definitely double check everything that I'm saying, or hire a realtor such as myself to help you in this process so that you're getting an unbiased perspective, because every builder will sell you that they're the best, but often you'll find every single builder has pros and cons. There are even great builders that I think do a fantastic job, but they're just incredibly expensive, and some of them are cutting back on a lot of the upgrades that they once offered, so they still claim that they're luxury, but they're not really that much more luxury than some of these other builders, and they've dialed back that luxury over the last couple years. But there are other builders that are really stepping it up. They're doing a great job with their plans. They're getting away from your typical window size that you see everywhere in the home. They have these like kind of custom made windows that are huge and just make the space feel different. There's different things that other builders are doing that are great. And in a public facing video, I don't want to put down any builders. If I burn bridges, that doesn't help you when you reach out to me, right? I want to use my connections to help you. But privately, I'm happy to advise you and tell you all the pros and all the cons of both builders, floor plans, but also communities. Every builder will also sell you that their community is the best. I've even had builders who that builder is building in one community and then building in another, and they'll just trash that other community. And you know, I do appreciate people's candor, but it's hard for me to not realize that they're biased when you go to their community and they trash everybody else, but then their community is the best. That's why I love giving people an unbiased perspective and tell people I'm not married to any of these builders. I'm happy to show you any of these options, but I just want to be upfront with you and educate you so you can make the best decision possible. Now, best decision for your floor plan means figure out how you want to live in the home, like what matters to you. Like I even get couples that both husband and wife or both spouses work from home, and so I say like, well, if one person's using the study and the other person's not working in that study, where else are you working, right? Are you going to use the spare bedroom upstairs? And that's actually often when I get the request for 5 bedrooms. So this home has 4 bedrooms, and there's no option if you build this plan from scratch at the time I'm recording this to add a 5th bedroom and bathroom. Oftentimes, if you want that 5th bedroom and another bathroom, and maybe because sometimes you work from home, you need a second spare bedroom to have a second spouse working from there. Or if you already have a couple kids and you have guests stay with you, well, where are those guests going to stay with you? Or if your parents are visiting and you have 2 kids and then you have a guest staying with you, then you just ran out of bedrooms with 4 bedrooms, right? And that's often where people say, well, I want 5 bedrooms. And if you want 5 bedrooms, let me show you a plan that has an option to do that here in a second. First, I want to tell you that if you want to see more homes for sale, they're on my website. I exclusively post homes for sale on my website at the top of the description of this video. Again, if you want that unbiased perspective that I think so many people want in this market where there's lots of options, go ahead and text home at the number at the bottom of the description of this video. And if you want to see that home that has an option for 5 bedrooms, that's the Haywick plan. I have a client who's building that. It's on the right side of your screen, and hope this helps. Take care.